I never thought I'd be the guy to get blindsided like this. Jennifer and I had been married for about 8 years now, and honestly, I always thought we had a pretty solid relationship. Sure, every couple hits rough patches, but I believed we could weather anything. She was smart, ambitious, and pretty much the center of my world until I started noticing the small cracks. It started a few months ago. Little things, really. She'd be late coming home from work trips, which I initially brushed off. Maybe she was just busy. But then I noticed her phone more often, hiding her screen when I walked into the room, texting at weird hours. I caught her in little lies here and there, saying she was at her friend's house when I knew she was somewhere else. And I got suspicious, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I kept telling myself it was just my imagination. Then last week, I found her phone on the nightstand, unlocked. I saw a message from someone I didn't recognize. It was late, around 11:30 p.m., and the message was something like, "Can't wait to see you again. Love you." I froze, my stomach sank. I stared at that message for what felt like forever. It wasn't just a friendly "see you later." It was intimate, personal, like they were hiding more than friendly chats. My heart pounded. I started getting angry, then scared, then just numb. I knew I had to find out what was going on, so I waited. I didn't confront her immediately. I wanted to catch her in the act if I could. But I couldn't. Instead, I started digging on my own, browsing her texts and social media. That's when I saw her talking about reuniting with this microbiologist named Sean, who she kept calling her partner in climate. Yeah, I know, it sounds like some kind of project, but I get it now. Their ecosystem revitalization assessments during our climate reclamation initiative. That was just the cover for their secret meetings in the desert, messing around during what was supposed to be field research. I feel stupid writing that, but it's the truth. She lied about everything. She tell me she was working late, or at conferences, or in meetings. Meanwhile, she was out in some remote desert with Sean, doing God knows what. I found out that their assessments were just a cover story for long weekends alone in the middle of nowhere, away from everyone. It's like she turned her work into a damn excuse to cheat, using her specialized microbiology as the perfect cover for whatever they were doing. I remember the night I found out, reviewing her emails and texts, my hands shaking. I felt this strange mix of rage and heartbreak. I wanted to scream, to throw her out, but I just sat there, stunned. How the hell did I not see this coming? How did I miss all the signs? I guess I was too trusting, too wrapped up in thinking we had a good thing. But now I see the truth. She's been lying to me for months, maybe longer. She's been cheating on me with a guy she calls her ecosystem revitalization partner, whatever that means. I don't even know how to process this. I mean, I've always believed in honesty, in loyalty. And here she is, sneaking off to desertified regions with some microbiologist, playing out some secret affair like a damn spy novel. It's not just about the sex, though I'm sure that's part of it. It's the betrayal of trust, the way she lied to my face, the way she's been hiding her life from me. I feel like I've been punched in the gut. It's like the whole foundation of what I believed our relationship was built on has crumbled overnight. I don't want to jump into any decisions too quickly, but the truth is I'm furious. Not just angry, but hurt. Deep down, I feel like I've lost a part of myself. How could she do this? How could she lie so easily? I know I need to confront her, but I also know I need to think about what's next. I've never felt so betrayed in my life, and honestly, I don't even recognize the woman I married anymore. The moment I saw those messages, everything changed. I remember the cold rush of adrenaline and a strange numbness that settled deep inside me. I wasn't sure whether to scream, cry, or just break something. Instead, I sat with my phone in hand, staring at the screen, trying to process what I just discovered. The worst part wasn't even the affair itself. It was the sheer audacity of her lies, the way she had been manipulating her story to cover her tracks. She had been so convincing, so bitchy when I questioned her, denying everything with that irritating tone like I was stupid for even bringing it up. My mind kept circling back to last weekend. She had gone on another work trip, and she'd been extra bitchy about it, snapping at me when I asked if she was okay. I thought she was just stressed or overworked, but now I see it was guilt, guilt over her secret life. She was acting out because she knew I was getting suspicious. She'd been lying to my face for months, maybe longer. I remember one night catching her in a lie about staying late at the lab, and when I pressed her, she snapped back, "Oh, stop being paranoid. You think I'm out screwing around? Grow up." Yeah, right, I knew better now. That night I decided I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. I had to confront her, had to get the truth out of her, no matter how much I didn't want to hear it. I waited until she came home that evening, trying to act normal, but inside I was boiling. When she walked through the door, I just looked at her and said, "We need to talk." Her eyes flickered a little too quickly, and I could tell she knew what was coming. Her face twisted into her usual bitchy expression, like she was annoyed I was ruining her little secret. I didn't hold back. I threw the phone on the table and showed her the messages. Her face froze, then she started with her typical bullshit, lying, denying, twisting words. She told me it was just work, that Sean was just a colleague, that they only discussed ecosystem assessments and desert restoration. She even called me paranoid, accused me of making a big deal out of nothing, and said I was overreacting because I didn't understand her work. That infuriated me. How could she lie so effortlessly? How could she spin that lie into something so innocent when I had the proof right there? She started crying, which made me feel sick. Not because I was moved, hell no, but because I knew this was just her acting. She's good at lying. She told me she loved me, that it was a mistake, that she was confused and lonely, and that Sean was just some stupid fling she got caught up in. She kept saying she never intended for it to go this far, but I wasn't buying it. The woman I married was bitchy, manipulative, and a damn good liar, and she was cheating on me. That's the reality I couldn't ignore anymore. I felt a mix of everything: anger, sadness, a deep sense of betrayal. I wanted to scream at her, tell her how much I hated her, how worthless I felt. But instead I just sat there, listening as she threw her excuses around, trying to make herself the victim. She claimed she'd been feeling trapped, that she needed something different, someone who understood her ambitions. She called Sean her partner in a way that made me want to vomit. That partnership, as she called it, wasn't about science or ecology. It was about sex, about hiding a secret affair during our climate reclamation project, which now just sounds like a cover for her affair. After hours of her lying, denying, crying, and trying to manipulate me, I finally told her I couldn't do this anymore, that I wanted her out, that I needed space to think. She acted surprised, batted her lashes, and said she'd work things out, that she loved me and would never cheat if I just gave her a chance. That was the moment I realized her version of love was just manipulation. She's good at it, too, bitchy, selfish, and utterly convincing when she wants to be. I've never felt so broken. I spent that night staring at the ceiling, replaying everything, trying to make sense of how I got here. I still can't believe she betrayed me like this, especially over something as stupid as her ego or her obsession with this microbiologist. It's not just cheating. It's a complete rejection of everything I thought we had, everything I believed she was. All those years I spent trusting her, all those nights I thought she was loyal, and it was all a lie. I thought I knew her, but I was dead wrong. That realization hurts worse than anything. The days that followed were like walking through a fog. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and every time I closed my eyes I saw her face, her bitchy smirk when she lied, her tears when she tried to manipulate me into staying. Honestly, I felt numb. Part of me wanted to yell, to break everything in sight, but mostly I just felt this deep, aching emptiness. How did I miss all the signs? I kept asking myself. How did I let someone I trusted so much turn out to be so damn selfish? I moved out of the house that first night after the confrontation. I couldn't stand being around her anymore, not with all the lies still fresh on my mind. I stayed with a friend, my buddy Mark, who's been through a divorce himself. He kept telling me to take my time, to not rush into anything, but inside, I just wanted to disappear. Every room, every corner in that house seemed to echo with her voice, her lies, her bitchy tone when she dismissed my concerns. It was like living in someone else's nightmare. The worst part was trying to process what I'd learned about Sean, that microbiologist, who she kept calling her partner in ecosystem revitalization, was probably in their little desert affair while I was clueless. I started digging into her emails, her texts, trying to piece together how long this had been going on. What I found was a pattern of secret meetings, late-night texts filled with "miss you" and "can't wait to see you again," and code words that I now realize were just their way of hiding the truth. Assessments in the desert, fieldwork, and other bullshit cover stories. None of it was real. It was all just their excuse to meet up to have sex, to pretend they were doing some important ecological work. I remember one email where she told Sean she was feeling trapped at home, that her marriage was suffocating her. That hurt more than anything else. She was already planning her escape, her new life with this microbiologist, and she was using her work as a shield. Sometimes I'd find her references to desert expeditions that kept getting longer and more frequent, and I knew she was lying about her assessments. She was with him, away from me, probably screwing around during our climate reclamation project. That was her cover, this bullshit about saving the environment, when all she was doing was hiding her affair. I started questioning everything. The woman I thought I knew was a manipulative, bitchy liar. She'd throw fits when I confronted her, call me paranoid, accuse me of being insecure. Honestly, I hated her for that. Hated her for destroying what we built together. She always had this way of twisting things, making herself seem like the victim, even as she betrayed me. While I was working my ass off trying to build a future, she was out in some damn desert, screwing around with her microbiologist lover. It's like she thought she could get away with it forever. The emotional toll was brutal. I'd wake up at night with this sick feeling in my stomach, replaying the moments I caught her lying, the times she dismissed me with that bitchy attitude. Every little sign, every sneaky text, every excuse she made to justify her actions, they all added up to one thing: she didn't love me anymore. She just wanted someone else, someone who understood her obsession with ecosystem revitalization, even if that meant screwing me over. That realization cut deep. I also started to feel angry. Angry at myself for not seeing it sooner, angry at her for being so selfish, and a little bit guilty, like I somehow failed as a husband. I kept asking myself, where did I go wrong? But I knew there wasn't a simple answer. Maybe I was too trusting. Maybe I should have seen the signs earlier. But mostly I was just angry she'd thrown everything away over some stupid affair, something she claimed was about climate work. But I knew better now. It was about her ego, her need for validation from someone who didn't give a damn about her or me. I've started seeing a therapist, trying to make sense of all this mess. Every session, I tell him about her bitchy attitude, her lies, her betrayal. It's hard, but it helps to get it out loud. I realize I've been through a kind of emotional trauma and I need to rebuild myself. That's the only way I'll survive this, by accepting what happened, feeling the pain, and figuring out how to move forward. Right now, I don't see a future with her. I just see a lot of anger and heartbreak that I need to work through. Honestly, I don't think I can trust her again. Not after what I found out. She's a master manipulator, and her climate work was just a cover for her selfishness. I feel like I've been played for a fool, lied to, betrayed, used. And the worst part is knowing she's still out there, probably with Sean, still pretending everything's fine. I just want to forget her, move on, and try to find some peace. But I know it'll take time. It's going to hurt for a while, probably a long while, but I refuse to let her ruin my life completely. I'm better than that. I just have to hold on long enough to find my way out of this mess. The hardest part of all this is what comes after the initial shock and rage. You think that once you confront her, everything will somehow get easier, but that's not how it works. The aftermath is just a different kind of pain, this slow, gnawing ache that settles deep inside your chest. I kept replaying every moment, every lie, every sneaky meeting she had with Sean, wondering if I missed any clues or signs I should have seen. Part of me feels like a fool for not noticing, but the truth is, she was good at hiding it. She's a bitch about it, too, snapping when I ask questions, dismissing my concerns, acting like I'm crazy for even doubting her. I started thinking about the future, trying to decide. What's next? Do I fight for the marriage? Do I just cut my losses and walk away? Honestly, some days I feel like just throwing everything out and starting over, but other days, I can't picture life without her. I keep telling myself maybe she's just caught up in her obsession with ecological restoration, and that she'll come to her senses. But deep down, I know that's wishful thinking. She's been caught in her own web of lies for so long, I doubt she even knows who she really is anymore. That bitchy attitude she puts on when she doesn't get her way, that's just her way of controlling the narrative, keeping everything under her thumb. I remember one night sitting alone in my apartment, staring at the ceiling, feeling completely hollow. I couldn't get her out of my mind. Her bitchy smirk, her dismissive attitude, her lies. I felt like I was losing grip on reality. That's when I realized this wasn't just about her cheating. It was about trust, respect, and whether I could ever look at her the same way again. The woman I married, the woman I loved, had become some stranger hiding a secret life. In the desert, it's sickening to think about how she played me, how she lied so convincingly. I started to wonder if I should try to get some closure or just cut my losses. Sometimes I think about reaching out to Sean, just to hear what he's like, to understand what kind of person he is. But then I remember she tried to manipulate me into thinking this was about saving the environment. And I realize they're both just using their work as an excuse to indulge in whatever sick little affair they had going. It's disgusting. I can't believe I married someone capable of that, someone who would betray her vows, her job, everything we built for some guy she calls her partner in her climate bullshit. I've been trying to avoid her, but occasionally she calls or texts, acting like nothing happened. That bitchy tone she uses when she's annoyed, trying to act like she's the victim. She's so manipulative it makes me sick. She's always been good at twisting things, making herself seem innocent, even when she's clearly the one at fault. I've lost count of how many times she's tried to gaslight me into thinking I overreacted or was just being paranoid. No, I wasn't paranoid, I was right. All those gut feelings, all those little things I ignored because I wanted to believe in us, that was the real mistake. I've started to question everything. What was real? Was I just fooling myself into thinking she cared? Did she ever love me, or was I just convenient? It's a sobering realization because it's hard to accept that someone you trusted so completely can turn out to be so selfish. I keep telling myself I need to focus on my own healing, that I can't change the past, but it's a constant struggle. Every time I see her bitchy smirk or her dismissive attitude, I feel this surge of anger and sadness that's hard to contain. I've been trying to find distraction, work, friends, even some stupid new hobbies, but nothing really takes the sting away. I've come to accept that I probably won't ever fully forget or forgive. Not her, not what she did. I don't even want to look at her anymore, but I know I have to. I need to find a way to move forward, even if it's just one tiny step at a time. It's gonna be a long road, but I refuse to let her destroy me. I deserve better than her cheap lies and her selfish bullshit. I just have to remind myself of that every day, no matter how much it hurts. Time has a strange way of stretching out after something like this. Days turn into weeks, and it all blurs together. I still see her bitchy face every time I close my eyes, still hear her dismissive tone when she's angry. But I've started trying to focus on what's next. Not because I want to forgive her, but because I realize I have to for my own sanity. Staying angry forever isn't healthy, even if she deserves every ounce of it. The question now is, what do I do with all this pain? Do I try to fix the marriage? Do I walk away? Or do I just pretend it didn't happen and move on? Honestly, I've been leaning toward walking away. I can't trust her anymore. No matter how much she begs or promises to change, I know now that she's capable of lying and betraying me at her own convenience. I talked to a lawyer last week, just to see what my options are, and it hit me hard how much this is going to cost, emotionally and financially. But I also know I can't stay. Not with her still pretending everything is fine, still acting like her affair was just some mistake she's trying to fix. That bitchy attitude she always had. It's even worse now, like she's trying to guilt me into staying, but I've got nothing left to give her. One thing I've realized is how much her ecosystem revitalization cover story was just that, a cover. She used her professional work as a shield for her selfishness. That microbiologist Sean, He's not some eco-warrior, he's just a guy who enjoys sneaking off into the desert to screw her. I've seen some of their private messages, how they talk about reuniting, secret adventures, and saving the environment as just code for their little affair. It makes me sick. I can't believe I was so blind, believing her lies about research and field assessments. She's manipulative, and she always was. I've also started noticing how she acts around others. Her bitchy attitude is always front and center when she feels threatened. She's always been good at putting on that tough, superior front, but now it's even more obvious. I see how she dismisses everyone who questions her, calling them paranoid or jealous, like she's some victim. But I know the truth. She's just a selfish, manipulative woman who used her climate work as an excuse to cheat. That realization fuels my anger, but it also makes me sad. Because underneath all that bitchiness, I see someone who's lost herself in her lies. I've been working on my own healing. I've started exercising again, trying to clear my head. I've been talking to friends more, leaning on them when I feel overwhelmed. I even took up some journaling, writing down everything I feel, trying to process the betrayal. It's not easy. Some nights I still wake up angry, rage bubbling up over how she could do this to us. But I know I have to keep going, for myself. I can't keep living in this hurt. I have to rebuild my life piece by piece. Honestly, I'm terrified about the future. I don't know what's waiting for me on the other side. Maybe loneliness, maybe regret, maybe just a quiet life of rejection and heartbreak. But I also know I'm better off without her. I deserve someone who values honesty and loyalty, someone who isn't sneaking off into desertified wastelands to screw around with her microbiologist lover. That's not love. That's manipulation, selfishness, and betrayal. And I refuse to accept her version of love anymore. So here I am, still trying to figure out how to move forward. I know I won't fix what she broke, but I can learn from it. I can become stronger, wiser, and more cautious about who I trust. I don't want to be that guy who gets played again. I want to find happiness again, even if it's just on my own terms. Maybe someday, I'll look back at this and see it as a painful chapter I had to go through to get where I need to be. For now, I'm just taking it one day at a time, trying to hold on to hope that I'll come out of this stronger without her bitchy attitude, her lies, or her selfish bullshit ruining my life. Now, as I sit here reflecting on everything, I realize how much I've learned about trust, about betrayal, and about myself. The pain of discovering her affair with Sean, the so-called ecosystem revitalization cover-up, and her bitchy attitude that masked so much selfishness has left scars that I know will take time to heal. But I also understand something important. I can't change what she did, nor should I try to force her to understand. That's her choice, her path to walk. All I can do is decide how I move forward, how I rebuild my life without her poison dragging me down. I've come to accept that she's not the woman I thought she was. She's manipulative, self-centered, and utterly committed to her own selfish needs, whether that's screwing around in the desert or lying to my face. But I refuse to let her define my life anymore. I've cut ties, moved out, and started focusing on myself. It's not easy. Some days I feel like giving up entirely, but I keep reminding myself I deserve better. What truly hurts most is the betrayal, not just the affair, but how she lied about everything. Her climate work was just a cover for her selfishness, her need for validation from Sean, and her inability to be honest. That bitchy attitude, her dismissive sneers whenever I questioned her, all of it was a mask hiding her true self, someone willing to throw everything away for a quick fling. And the worst part is, I let her get away with it for so long because I wanted to believe in us. But now I see clearly. I see her for what she really is, and I know I can't go back. I can't rebuild what's broken, not with her still pretending everything is normal, still acting like the victim while I'm left picking up the pieces. So I'll move on. I'll focus on healing, on learning to trust again, and on making sure I never let someone manipulate me the way she did. It's a long road ahead. There will be days when I feel like crumbling, days when the anger and sadness threaten to swallow me whole. But I'm determined to survive, to come out stronger on the other side. I know there's a better life waiting, one where I'm not constantly worried about being betrayed, where I can trust someone again, even if that's a distant possibility right now. In the end, I've learned that betrayal cuts deep, but it also teaches resilience. That sometimes the only way to truly move forward is to accept what happened, forgive yourself for the pain, and choose to rebuild. I won't forget her, but I will learn from her. I'll remember that even in the darkest moments, there's a flicker of hope, a chance to start over, to find happiness on my own terms, free from her bitchy lies and selfish manipulations. And that's what I'm holding onto now.